So it's just the Sentinel mix-up that we're really kind of keeping our eye on from the agent composition. And I think just, adding a little bit of a cherry on top here, will this be a third pistol straight for S2P after winning the opening 2?
I don't know. I mean, that might be kind of exciting to see. I'm definitely very interested to see how it is that S2P are going to balance out their economy, especially as they are starting on the defense this time. And that is, of course, the side that we just saw them absolutely excel at. And because of the way that they played their economy rather uniquely and not overbuying anything. So that's going to be one to look out for. Information already being gathered. Not found anything just yet, though, although they did just spot that guiding light.
Yeah, the recon bolt instantly deleted. The guiding light was also spent to get the angle at B main. A little bit of battle bots going on inside of Hookah. Headshot connects for Nismo, but to not get the full elimination. Oh, caught trying to go to the paint shells, and Danny running a gun with a frenzy will confirm first blood. Good start here for S2P at a 5v4 early on.
Pushing forward are Ghost Gaming, but to be punished for it. There's a trade, however, and Chase holding on to Hookah, but does in fact back out. Looks like they're going to reconvene and maybe move over to the A side. There is a defender, at least one, who could potentially meet them there.
It's be really interesting to see how exactly do you execute if you're Ghost with these three. Are there stars that are still available for Ryan? How much utility is still available for Chase? A lot of questions to consider. And defensively for S2P, none of that utility is likely going to connect too much whatsoever because they're both just playing essentially a cross angle over through mid. Sofa, gonna drop a Nebula. Bancroft playing the close corner. Shots over the top, not gonna be found. Guiding light will gain a little bit of space. Kohler the first one forward, trying to find spam shots, but Bancroft does well to find a 1-for-1 exchange. But overall, Ryan will still win the engagement, and that will mean we've got a 1v2 situation for the defending Rays. It's John on the way in. Overgrowth has still been charged up. That'll be used. Shots decent. John not able to clean up Ryan fully. Second challenge has to come through. Have to find a way in. The blast back actually could maybe even find the kill, but does not connect in time. So now it's just down to the timing. Finds the first. 27 HP, 1v1. Chase has to check. Now it's the aggression from John that has to come through. Shot still missing. Chase able to get around the corner. We're continuing to dance inside the showers, but John does find the kill. Plenty of time to defuse. And S2P, they'll win all three pistols we've seen so far.
That last 1v1 did go on for a little while, and I was very close to just saying, oh, well, Ghost Gaming, they are the kings of the showers at this point, because even when they pushed onto A site, S2P were actually prepared for the push in from that part of the map, and yet they were still overwhelmed by it. And a big part of that is simply being outmanned. You know, you have 3 guys running out from showers at the same time to kill 2 players from S2P. I understand that. That's quite difficult. But this way that Chase was playing at the end there seemed a little bit unsure as he was backing off through showers in that 1v1. I think that's what allowed John, who was just only had to, put his foot on the gas in one direction, managed to finally get the necessary kill at the end there.
There they are.
Got ourselves a force buy situation. Danny thinks that he's got the jump after winning the pistol, that I've got better weaponry. Not the case. Ghost actually have even imported into an AR. So it'll be a Spectre for area. Trade for Kohler, but this is a full purchase coming through for both sides, and S2P are going to have to be very careful of how they want to play this. You do have one player long lurking. Bancroft able to use a flash to move forward to eventually find a trade. 4v4 we go. Mini over into Lamps, has found one. Decent damage onto a second. Does he actually want to chase through this? Yeah, sure does. Guiding light will allow him to move a little bit further forward, but in the end, Ghost in a 3v4 have gained the B side and they will plant. The big question is, will you ever expect John on this long flank through B long?
That's what I was thinking. He's looking in the right direction, certainly, and he's going to continue to push up, but there's the kill from Chase. He brings John down, denies him his opportunity. Still kills coming in, 2 from Nismo. Looks like they're going to retain control of this site here. Only 1 player from S2P remaining.
The Trailblazer does connect. Makes life much easier for Ryan. So the AR and the force purchase beyond that for Ghost pans out very nicely for him. 3 kills for Nismo. And you thought for a second the opening trade that we saw with Bancroft able to move forward into showers was going to be enough, but then Nismo taking over here. was not for the defender's weaponry to really find value.
I'll be honest, I think almost the Viper's wall that was brought out hurt S2P in a sense, because what it did was bunch up the players from Ghost Gaming down in that bottom left-hand corner of the A site. They had basically free reign to go straight in through the teleporter, and there wasn't enough defensive presence on the other side of the map to punish that.
Looking for an isolated play onto Kohler, but he's hiding in a corner. The push through will not find any success. Kohler, beautiful patience. Takes down Mini for first blood. Sofa in an absolutely atrocious position, caught between a Nebula and a paint shell. And that will lead to a 5v3 situation, and Ghost already on to be with the plant.
And not really strong defensive presence over there. And we do see one of the stars that has been placed by the Astra, but other than that, really nothing. They just have so much control, and there's a slow rotation being made round by the defenders. Also got the Viper up over there, but do they know of her position?
Got to be Bancroft to find one here. Not going to come away with anything. And this trap wire. I know the Olympics aren't until summer, but might have to hurdle your way over the top of that if you want to get through cleanly. Double peek, looking for exit kills. Kohler will see all of this and say, all right, here comes the play forward. Going to be taken down, so that's not bad overall for S2P. They'll be able to collect the Spectre, and, well, you thought maybe they would back out to hold on to it, but they won't. They'll just sacrifice their lives, and that'll be a round going over to Ghost. And now we get to a very interesting fourth round where it comes down to the economies being a little bit all over the place, but S2P will be able to zero out their economy to afford full rifles.
In my opinion, they kind of have to. I mean, you could... you know, do a partial, I suppose, and try and be a little bit more economically sound, but they are lagging behind. And I think one of the big problems here, and this is what we see with the fact that they did choose to bring the Viper, which is not necessarily bad, but as a direct result, they did relinquish the Killjoy, they relinquished the Cypher, and it means their ability to hold both sites at once has been severely diminished, and that's hurt them so far. So at the very least, they need gunpowder.
Danny walks away with a ton of information off this opening play. Gravity Well was spent early. Also the toxic screen going down to help him kind of maneuver through showers, but the Trailblazer already spent. Chase has also used one of his guiding lights, so a little bit of that Sky utility has been pulled out early, and now Ghosts are going to try to stack for maybe a full-on look to see what's happening over at A.
Bancroft gets a sight of one of those players. We know that there's three of them, though. He's going to have to be forced back somewhat. Avoid the shock dart. Out goes his smoke to push them back.
I mean, this has all been great for S2P's defense. They have pulled out so much utility. Cyber Cage, paint shells, all for the spend of re-enabling your poison cloud and then throwing down a snake bite. This has all been value for S2P. Just comes down to, with what they've got banked, can they find a way to actually hold off on the execute, because it is on the way. Seeker's now coming through. Aggression from Nismo, trying to get up top on the truck, but misses it. So now he's got to make his way through the toxic screen, and as they do, the defense of S2P are ready for it. They find the opening 2, make it opening 3 kills. Kohler needing to find something special. Makes things interesting, but only mildly, as Chase finds 1v3. Spike is still in hand, but this is going to be a crossfire that there's really nowhere for him to go but down. So S2P able to even things up at a very clean defense to 2-2.
And their wallet's going to be feeling a bit better now as well, because while they did the full buy last time, which put them very low in money, they actually have a little bit more room to work with there. Bancroft and Sova still waiting to just pick up what weapons they wish. Looks like you're going to have one Spectre in there. But, you know, I'm just going to say, the success that they had on that round, that's kind of what happens when you do have a defense that's invested in both sites early on. I said that, you know, lacking some of that, those sentinels meant that was harder for them. They found a way to make it work, and work it did.
Viper's Pit will be spent defensively for Bancroft. Boombot denied. Integrity of this should be no problem. Bancroft is going to clear a little bit of space and then hug a corner. So this will make things really interesting over through Hookah. And the Boombot, very good to try to clear things out. Aldrone also being spent. Paint shells to come through. Bancroft able to stay safe. Oh my goodness, this Viper's Pit is being focused so heavy, and then Danny just rotates over. Everybody's at 1 health. So the Hunter's Fury finds 2, and Oh, Ghosts are going to have to re-talk about what just happened right there because they were using everything to clear Hookah, and they come away with nothing besides a 2v5.
Yeah, that's painful. And look at this. You got Ryan's being hunted because that mid control is still being held by S2P as well. They're basically kind of trapped, looking to commit to B, but there's only 2 of them.
Oh, man. Danny.
One enemy remaining.
Good timing here. Guiding
Spike
light.
down B.
Could have been better, but that's all right. We're nitpicking at that point if we're really going to criticize it. Dazzle flash in the corner. What can you find? Only 1, and Danny finds 4 in total. But my goodness, did Ghost Gaming throw literally the kitchen sink at the Viper's pit. Well, the kitchen sink apparently fought back in a way they're not the greatest execute through Hookah. And now they put themselves on an eco round.
I mean, look, I think that that was really smart, the use of the Viper's Pit and Hookah, because the way that the B site is set up geographically is that as an attacker, if you want to push into it multi-dimensionally, you need to go in through long and you need to go in through Hookah. Otherwise, you've got to go all the way around to defender spawn, which realistically, very difficult to get. So they had to invest. If they wanted to go for B, they had to invest. The only other option really would have been to go to A. Ghost Gaming, S2P read into that. They used the Hunter's Fury because they knew it would punish them, and easy. Nice other round for them on the board.
Trailblazer, oh, it's actually brilliant. Finds so much information, even through the gravity well. The second guiding light, not great, but the exit is still all right. Ghosts have a lot of tools to work with ultimate-wise, but the problem here is they just do not have a lot of weaponry. So a little bit of exchange of information. Seekers were spent. Recon Bolt also comes through. Kohler finds a first blood on a miniature, so maybe an opportunity, and that seems to be the case as Dazzle will pull out the Hunter's Fury and confirms the kill onto Danny. So now you've got yourselves a 3v3 situation. The attack quickly coming, but it's immediately shut down. Sofa, even with the spam shot through the Nebula, will lock down a triple, and S2P hold cleanly in the final 3v3 engagement.
This is not feeling comfortable for Ghost Gaming at this point because S2P are simply getting a better and better economical advantage. And we've seen what they can do when they don't have an economical advantage. So when they do, they just look very, very clean. And now Miniature's going to be bringing out the op, everybody else on the Phantom. And you do have the ARs coming in from Ghost Gaming now. They can actually afford it, but look how many credits they have left. A grand total of 400 amongst the entire team. Basically means if they don't win this next round, they're going to be quite struggling.
An important one to be sure. Mini pulling out the operator. As this Sky, there will not be many exits, so a bit bold and brazen to see an aggressive peek like that, but there was a little bit of help. But now you're essentially forced to play the front side of the site. John exchanging some information with the other rays on the map. And Dazzle holds the angle, waits for a Miniature's peek, finds the kill. John gonna pull out the showstopper. Takes down 1 in response. So we do go 4v4, but the entirety of this play over through B is nothing short of a fake because Ghosts are actually sending this spike over towards A. And well, the call is going to be to probably try to push through showers. I don't think anyone's seen Danny though. This would be tough if Kohler comes out. He will. There's the kill. And now all of a sudden it's 2v4 and Ghosts are trapped. One player in shower, the other sitting in mid. John even working around the backside flank. Ryan's got absolutely nowhere to go. Easy follow-up kill, no problem. A very huge round for S2P. As you mentioned, economically, Ghosts are back to the drawing board.
I mean, think about it this way on that round, right? At that point, S2P could kind of foresee that Ghost were going to do that because Ghost had to try something new. What they've been doing so far, it simply wasn't working. But they knew that when Ghost tried to attack onto A site back in round number 1, they came in with a Showers push. You also have the Viper's wall up as well, which makes that the preferable way to push in. So where Danny was positioned to punish anybody who came in through there, and you also had another player over in U-Hall, naturally, it just basically made it impossible for Ghost to push in. And S2P had their number way before Ghost even made that rotation.
Well, this round here for Ghost, I hesitate to say that any thrifty round is required, but you would love to have a thrifty round here. Beyond that, if you can get a spike plant and at least get some damage done to STP, that would be fine. Timing here, though, is going to be everything. John is lurking through spices. Saw the trap wire. The spike being held by Ryan is coming right towards him, but he doesn't actually check his corner, so now you've got a free weapon to pick up. Sure, Bancroft has done well to find himself a trade, so we go 4v4, but at least you've got a weapon to work with.
It's unfortunate. You could tell that he didn't want to invest the bot as well to give away his location, but he was simply looking the wrong way. What a beautiful kill there from Sofa onto Dazzle.
You are divided.
It's gonna keep S2P in the man advantage for now.
Covering it, taking that back.
Wow. Sofa's going to be using this as a bit of map management moment, pulling all the stars back to set up for a retake, as the Cosmic Divide offensively will allow Spike to be planted without contest. Still a 3v4. The weapons are the biggest problem. Nismo. Timing is going to have to be incredible here. Spam shots are coming through. Hunter's Fury also defensively being spent just to clear out some space. One kill for Danny, looking for the second. Kohler. Cyber Cage finds one elimination. That's going to be a weapon picked up. Able to find the second with help from Nismo. 2v1 situation. Danny knows he's got one right on top of the spike. Finds that kill. Turns, snaps, finds the triple. Time should be just enough for the defuse. What a play from Danny.
Oh, absolutely no way. I was thinking this Ghost are finally going to be able to get something going. They had some tenacity in that round, which is what they needed. But Danny showing up at the end there. What a beautiful couple of kills to ensure that S2P remain very, very much in the lead, both in terms of the round count and economy, and also their pride as well. Remember, of course, this is Ghost Gaming's map. They chose to come to Bind, and maybe right now they might be regretting it a bit.
I mean, to be fair, just to kind of hold us to our own expectations, we're not expecting them to win a Thrifty. If we said that, hey, you find kills, you find the spike down, that's okay. The problem is you're going to look back at that round 8 and say, we could have won a Thrifty. So now you're in a 6-2 situation. You're on your full buy, and S2P who just get aggressive down mid. They find the easy first blood, and you're already back to a 4v5 if you're Ghost.
I think that's the painful thing, is knowing that they could have and didn't. I don't know, you've still got more opportunities, and there are many more rounds available for the taking. And we've seen these two teams switch things over a lot, especially once things reach the half, which they've not yet met. So there's still hope for Ghost Gaming. There's some intel coming out for S2P, however, aware of some of the locations, but you can see the spike starting to be rotated back over, maybe towards that B site. A bit of lurking by the spike character.
It's decent information, though, for many. It just comes down to, is that enough information for the defense to actually rotate? Because so far, that has not been the case. Aldron's going to be spent. That will see some information. Understeer going to come through immediately for Dazzle. Looking to use this as a way to get in, but Mini has already found one elimination. Does well there just to go 1-for-1, essentially. And now as Danny and John have rotated over, they find a couple of kills. Dazzle nowhere to go, but down. And S2P up 7-2, but that was a must-win round for Ghost. Essentially turned aside from the get-go with the first blood down Main Street. And now you're in a position to where you're just hoping and praying you can even find 4 rounds and a half if you're Ghost.
Yeah, this is a really, really frustrating position for them to be in, because, you know, at what point now are they going to be able to feel fully weaponized, quite literally, to actually go up against S2P? I mean, look at this as well. Just the way that they're playing, they're not even going for full armor. They're not getting full shield, so they're already weakened from that perspective too.
Oh boy. A lot starting to really be listed for what Ghost is going to have to do to get themselves back into this game, or at least keep it tight through the first half. To be fair, though, there is some movement happening over towards B, and it's pretty reinforced. I mean, all 5 players are here, so if you can just find a way to even trade first blood, that would be fine, but not the case. Sofa with the operator able to find the second, no problem. Dazzle caught in the corner, and it just comes down to 1. Ryan in hookah with the frenzy. Good luck, have fun.
Need that back.
The best way to put it at this point. Puts down a Nebula, he picks up another weapon, but he can't get the kill in time. Danny was way too quick on the draw. And another round for S2P, who they could buy some crypto at this point.
Yeah, they really could. I mean, you've got, what, 2 members that are essentially fully maxed out. Everybody else is above 6K. I mean, they've got enough to buy for what will likely be the rest of this half, no matter what happens in these next 2 rounds, no problem. So for Ghost, the best available outcome for this first half is 4-8. And you don't want to go down 10-2, I'll tell you that much. So once again, I'm asking Ghost Gaming to find a win somewhere. Not going to happen, at least off the initial first blood. 1 for 1, that's fine. That's really all you're looking for if you're John. A couple of flashes will be there to make sure any following hit from Ghost is delayed. That said, it really wasn't coming with all that much ferocity, was it? So Aldrin will scout out the lay of the land. Defense will rotate, and we're back to nearly the exact same execute that we saw from a couple of rounds ago.
Some straight up shots being taken in through the cage by Sofa. I mean, they know that they don't have to worry all that much. In the meantime, Ghost is going to be making a pretty broad rotation over to A, but I'm pretty sure S2P have read into this, sending in the shot dart, knowing that they're likely coming through. There's a Nebula to try and obscure some vision, but at this point, how much is it actually going to deter S2P?
I mean, you already had the toxic screen set up for that exact same hit, so Danny is fine to just sit and lurk by himself on A, throw out one shock dart, spam a couple of clips towards showers, through the toxic screen, and now the defense is into a 2-2 setup. Also, beyond, you got to keep in mind that Danny still also is holding on to a Hunter's Fury, so that could be used as a tool for retake if required. Backing up just a touch, gravity wells were placed, but really does not stall at all that often. Hunter's Fury is going to come down, but maybe a touch too late. Bancroft's going to try to use that to come across, but does get taken away. So now 4v3. Seekers being earned will be immediately spent. Mini on the backside. Has to delete the Seeker. That's information from Ghost. Now a 4v2 as Chase has found a third kill. And Danny is not really in a position to set up crossfire whatsoever. Does find one, not going to get the second, but gets a read on where Dazzle's position. Can Mini take that into their own advantage? Yeah, sure can. Spam shots are decent, but Ryan from Showers cleans things up, and the must-win round does come through. So 3-8 the tally. Open for one more as Ghost to try to make this a more respectable first half.
It almost, you know, just makes you breathe a sigh of relief on the behalf of Ghost and all of their fans who are probably watching this right now, just because of how unfortunate the rest of the half had been going for them. So to finally get their claws in somewhat in that round, and you can see that every time they were getting a piece of utility, they were investing it because they knew they had to. At that point, you know that you have to do what you can to bring this back in your favor, even just by one round's worth, because of how far ahead S2P have gone themselves.
A lot of tools for Ghost here. Hunter's Fury, Neural Theft, Showstopper. Nothing to counter, at least as of yet, for S2P. Dazzle's going to let it rip. Predictive angles are actually all right, but it doesn't fully connect, so no damage dealt. John moving quickly, trying to deny the Showstopper, as Nismo will just turn around, find the kill, and then move his attention forward. That'll be good for the initial exchange, plus one more for Ghost, 4v2. But Mini with a judge. Aldrone will be sent out, coming aggressively. Dazzle will fall. That'll be a weapon upgrade. Well, in exchange, and there's plenty of money to buy that from the get-go, but at least keeps the numbers more respectable here as S2P find themselves this down to a 2v3 now.
Look at this positioning. It's basically going to cut off any kind of defensive rotation through defender spawn as well. It gives Ghost so much control over the A site. This could be pretty good for them.
Oh, S2P, find Kohler, isolate him over towards the link. 2v2, Viper's Pit now earned. Do you use this? How would you use it? I think those are the questions that Bancroft probably is considering. Miniature, wanting to try to clear over towards Lamps. There's the crossfire setup. They're fully stacked on top of each other. 1 for 1 they go, but Chase, spamming through the toxic screen, finds the final, and 4-8 will be the tally at the end of the first half.
Sides.
8-4, not ideal, but also not the worst that it could have gone. I think that the positioning of Kohler that I was talking about before in terms of being able to cut off the rotation through defender spawn, the fact that he didn't even get one kill from that because of Bancroft's aggression coming through, that was really disappointing. And for me, that was a point at which I worried for Ghost Gaming. But it simply was that final kill wasn't, there was no trade potential for S2P just because of the way that it was positioned, the way that it was taken, and the fact that they just lost a player as well. Finally meant the Ghost Gaming could actually clinch in that last kill, but you don't want to be in a position where you're relying on unreliable things such as that.
Sure.
So now they're on their attacking half, and maybe this could be where we start to see momentum shift. At the very least, the economy's been reset, so they're not, they don't need to be in that kind of mental funk that you might get from being so far behind in that sense. This could be a chance for Ghost Gaming.
Haven't won a pistol yet.
Here.
Would love to get this one. Just to your point, this is Ghost Gaming's preferred half as well, playing from the defensive side. 61% win rate on rounds on average over the course of the last month and a half or so. Lots of pressure through mid. Spam shots coming out. Does force the paint shells, but the rest of the hit actually was full focus through showers. Chase never expected that. He drops. John moving forward. Boombot used to get the elimination, and that will be an absolutely perfect execute from S2P. Spike has been planted. Gravity Well was just a little bit too late to the party. But Kohler's already worked his way onto site, so there might be an opportunity to try to clear a little bit of the space, of which, to be fair, 2 attacking members for some to prove are down to critical HP. Dazzle, the first one forward. Didn't hear the jump peek. Coming around the corner, finds the first shot. Bancroft lining something up.
One enemy remaining.
Danny finding one. Wants another, but Dazzle holding the angle. Good for it. Not going to make a difference, though. The post-plant setup for S2P, too strong. And they will take 4 out of 4 pistols we've seen and go up 9-4 because of it.
Well, they were on even footing, and I thought maybe Ghost had a chance. I think when they actually pushed down in through the A site after the plant had been made, they were a little bit lackluster in looking at a number of the angles that they had to watch out for. It was sort of like a little flick towards showers here, a little peek into U-Haul there. There was actually a player from S2P who was in U-Haul that Kohler did get the kill onto, but only because he was taken by surprise and just, you know, had a reactionary flick. So I think maybe they could have been a bit more thorough in that sense. And... oh, okay. Ghost get the first kill in this round, so there's that.
Bancroft expected, you saw the ping go down, pulls a passive angle. Oh boy, that's not great. Dazzle just underneath, double right clicks, the long range shots as well. And the cheekiness out of Ghosts. In the first half, it was a force buy. This time, it's aggression with pistols. Both look like they're going to come out successful. It is just down to many. 1v5. And, well, they've been scouted. No problem there. Dazzle for 4 in the round helps Ghost secure Thrifty.
Yeah, and at that point, you know, if you're Mini just left at the end there, you've got the spike that's been dropped on site and basically a monolith of opponents to face through if you want to get there. Kind of hard to actually achieve that. So Ghost Gaming putting another round on the board, definitely a good thing. I suppose if you're Ghost Gaming, it's not that great for S2P, but S2P have just been so much better with momentum in this map. We have to remember, of course, as well, that this is a best of 3, and so if S2P do win this round, then they win the entire best of 3, and it will be them going forward in the bracket. So Ghost Gaming don't really have a map to mess around on. They have to make this work if they want to stay in the game.
Well, this should be a round that they should be able to pull. You've got a Hunter's Fury, you've got weapon advantage. S2P is just kind of playing the long economical game here, trying to get into round 4 of the half being their full buy. Gravity Well, Cyber Cage, paint shells all being spent defensively to make sure sewers stay safe. Spam shots over towards lamps, also going to come away relatively unsuccessful, but in the mix of all that interaction, Sofa does still survive with just a single point of HP, so there was some pretty critical damage dealt. And they've got the ability to heal Sofa up, but they seem to just still want to make their way forward, and, well, Sofa will fall because of it. So, interesting call. Dazzle still keeping their spree over towards B. Now Chase on the crossfire. Able to find themselves a couple. That'll be a very solid hold for Ghost, as expected. They bring this into within 3 rounds.
A nice one there, and Chase clearing things up as well. One thing that I was, you know, just looking at there is Ghost were not immediately reactive to the rotation that was made by S2P when they decided to abandon the A site. And at first I was skeptical because they'd put down a lot of utility to protect a push onto the A site, and I thought, well, maybe they could have rotated a bit sooner. But actually, I think their, that's where patience paid off there, because it just put them in a good situation where S2P maybe got a bit too aggressive trying to push onto the site, and actually got punished for it.
absolutely daring plays from both sides through the middle of the map. Seekers were spent trying to gain a little bit of favor aggressively through hookah, but it's met in very stiff resistance by some to prove, who are now making their way very quickly to rotate over to A. Hunter's Fury for Dazzle coming through. One player will be tagged. Is there confirmation of the kill? Yes, plus a little bit more damage even on top of that. Danny from behind, able to find one, does not expect the second. Spike, all the meanwhile, have been planted, so it's going to be a 3v4 post-plant setup. The big problem, though, is the fact that you've got a defensive player of Ryan who's all the way around the back of you. And actually, pardon me, they will pick up the spike, not commit for the plant, and then rotate to B, so pardon me on that.
Yeah, but you can see the players from Ghost Gaming are just getting ready to meet them there. Getting prepared for that. Ryan also, he's done the wide rotation as he wants to stay kind of behind. All of the players from Ghost are together. Out comes the recon, but I don't think anybody was seen with that dart. Instead, they're going to have to face check, and well, that time it didn't really work. A trade between Miniature and Dazzle. This is Bancroft trying to get a kill. He gets one on to Chase. That means there's just one player from Ghost remaining.
And Ryan caught in the snake pit, also between two players. This is difficult. Snake Pit is just denying so much of this ability to even play for a sound cue, so some to prove. Quick rotation. 3v4 situation, actually, mind you, when that all happened. Find a way to cleanly get over to B, get the plants down into much safer confines, and they now get right back into their winning ways. 10-6 up, but a very dicey round for both teams, so this will put some really interesting decisions into the mix. Ghost Gaming will still be able to purchase, even actually able to afford an operator. On the opposite side, though, you can already see Miniature thinking about a Guardian, thinking about a Judge, and you still have two players on light armor, and beyond that, also two players who have completely zeroed out. So a bit of a weird buy situation for S2P after they just come through with the successful round of their own.
I guess they're kind of planning for the future a little bit. They know that they have a decent enough advantage that they don't have to rush into anything like that. But Cola's going to rush straight into the Nebula and get a nice opening kill onto Miniature.
Danny knows he's got a 1v1 with Kohler coming around this corner. Surely. Holds it, wins the gunfight. Meanwhile, off screen, John takes one down through the A connector. And this is an aggressive plant position for Sofa. You can really hear a couple of the players making some footsteps, but I was about to ask the question, will Ghost even go for this? The answer will be given to us. They will not. They'll back away to save the rifles. Beautiful opening engagement for S2P to give them their 11th round, essentially, just off the opening kill.
Yeah, I think that, as you say, they want to save their rifles. It's better for them to keep hold of the weaponry, especially when they know that S2P are getting that close to the, you know, the 13 round mark, which of course would win them the entire thing. And Ghosts need to be prepared for those rounds that are upcoming rather than just thinking about what's going on now. It's way too late in the game for them to think about things like that. One thing that I do want to bring up is just a kind of a major difference between these two teams in the way that they're approaching things is that both of them like being very aggressive early on in the round. It's something we've seen from both of the teams. They will have an aggressive play, and then they'll come back, and then they'll play for the intel. For example, if they're going to send out an owl drone, if they're going to send out recon bolts, if they're going to send out a guiding light, whatever it may be. But it's S2P who are more successful in the early aggression than Ghost ever were. Yeah. S2P have been able to punish the early aggression much more effectively than Ghost have been, and I think that is a fundamental issue in this matchup.
Yeah, that point also extends to map number 1 in Ascent, by the way. That we absolutely got that sentiment for sure. Opening first blood, you thought maybe immediately counters our points, but not the case. It gets traded back. We result in the first engagement in a 4v3. Miniature not going to give up on this play, wants to send the Seekers out, but Ryan was ready for it, finds the kill. Bancroft very similarly will find the trade, and that will actually gain the offense the position of Lamb. Sofa holding still, able to find two. Knows Kohler's nearby, but a post-mortem shock bolt will actually connect, pushing Sofa back, and he's seen Kohler. Neural Theft will be spent. Will there be an actual check? The answer, no. And Sofa on 9 bullets will have to reload, and it looks like it's going to be a foot race to see who can get to B first. The good news here for Kohler is that there are some trap wires that will have to be dealt with, and that will provide at least some more actual information that Kohler, yep, you've guessed correctly, this rotation is still right.
Spike planted.
He's just waiting, being patient. He puts down the cage, and that's at the very least going to make Sofa kind of half guess where this Cypher may be, because the cage has gone down, but he also has to watch into the defender spawn too. Oh.
They're right next to each other. Kohler,
He knows he's there.
he's gonna check this. Ah, Sofa was thinking the same thing, just a touch too late, and that's the beauty of having the safety net of your own setup around the B site. Trapwire, spy cams, you can get value out of both of those and never reveal how exactly you're playing for a retake. And that was a huge round win for Ghost overall to try to keep themselves in this map.
It was really risky as well how Sofa was playing earlier in the round too, because he got 2 very nice kills onto the A site, but being the guy carrying the spike, and especially when I don't remember who the second to last person to be killed was, but when he was killed at that point, you're in a very risky position where if you can't be traded, then you're dropping the spike in somewhere that's in the direct line of sight of the defenders, and yet he still got those 2 kills. But he made the right decision to rotate when he did. It's just, you know, you get situations like that at the end, especially in a very reinforced site like B was. It's always fun to watch, though.
Timing things, really no way to break it down. It's just sheer Valorant timing.
Just timing. Classic.
Some to prove on this next offense, have some tools to use, including the Viper's Pit and a Showstopper. You think we'll probably see the latter before the former. Cosmic Divide will come down, though, actually will be the first thing forward. John trying to conceal their way through this Cosmic Divide. This is a dicey area to push through. Sofa looking for a plan, actually pulls off of it. Kohler looking to push into Viper's Pit, but denied as Sofa does find the eventual elimination. But still on the site is Dazzle. Yeah, so Dazzle's actually found one. You gotta keep in mind the spike has not been planted. It can still rotate, and that will be the case. Teleporter will be used. And an offensive toxic screen is actually concealing and shrouding this entire play over towards A, which will actually result in what could be a free plan on the site.
It looks like it's gonna be that way, especially the use of the teleporter just making it so fast for them to get there. There's so much help from the remaining attackers as well. The Viper's Pit does go out.
Healing over here.
Dazzle didn't know that the Viper could still be there, so Dazzle's actually late to this rotation. That's the only real kind of big surprising thing that unfolds. Overgrowth will be spent, though, so now for Ghost, still around that you feel like is a must-win. Do you even pull up the Cosmic Divide port, though, or just try to move your way straight on forward? Well, they give us our answer. They try to force on in. They will not find success, and that will mean that, yep, another save is on the cards, and that means that we're going to be on match point. S2P up 12-7.
That's a really difficult decision to make as well. You know, if you know that you're giving match point away and you're still going to make that decision for, you know, the economical purposes of it, it totally makes sense and I completely get it, but it's still a tough decision to make knowing that you're not going to fight for the end of that round because too early in that round did you realize that it wasn't going to go your way. Hopefully, for the sake of Ghost Gaming, it will be a decision that does turn out to be fruitful and conducive to a bit more success for them going forward. But, you know, they don't have the money to be making any kind of a full buy or anything like that, whereas S2P, they simply do. So not only did they give match point to S2P, but they can't even come in all guns blazing because they can't afford the guns to blaze.
Huh. Even Dazzle being denied for even getting this ultimate orb outside B long. Aggression being postured here goes as Hookah is completely controlled, but a lot of the opening interaction over through sewer is going very swimmingly, at least for a time, for some to prove. That will be traded back. We stay 4v4, but the spike has started to rotate over towards A main. You've already got Bancroft already moved forward into the site itself. And this comes down to the timing once more. Yeah, Dazzle checks this right. Does not expect Bancroft to be pushed as far forward as he was. And that will be enough for a 4v3 post-plant situation for some to prove, looking to put this series away and get into the semifinals.
Well, they've got the man disadvantage, Ghost. They've got to ensure that they're positioned very well for this because the tiniest thing has to go wrong and they give S2P the entire series. And you can see this flank that's going potentially around for S2P as well. It looks like the defenders are going to convene on the site. There's the Cosmic Divide. Oh, they narrowly miss each other.
But it does still favor Sofa. Finds the kill. Second one runs on in. There's the easy second and the third to follow. No problem. Some to prove. 13-7 on the bind. Once